Some wisdom is found on the surface, and some wisdom takes us deeper. Welcome to Get Deep, where we dive into the thoughts, truths, and affirmations that help us grow, reflect, and move forward. I'm Deborah D.E.E.P, Mouton, and every episode will explore the power of words, the strength of resilience, and the beauty of introspection. Come in, take a seat, and let's get deep. One of the coping mechanisms I didn't even realize I was doing was holding on to things. I knew that I held on tight to people, even far after I should let them go. But I didn't realize that I was a little bit of a hoarder. Not in the ways that you see on the TV series that has every wall stuffed, but in the way that wouldn't let go of things that don't serve me anymore. Specifically, clothing. Maybe it was my shifting sizes that made me hold on, but I would have luggage with clothing in a different size that I loved in a different version of me from years beyond. Holding on to them, hoping I would get back to them. Sometimes even clothes that were larger than I was, believing that I knew I would fall again and fail in my routines and end up in a larger size. Holding on to clothes is something that started when I was very young. It was much more out of necessity then. My family was one of those who got clothes from Goodwill at one point, and my parents worked at a local casino where they gathered everything from their lost and found and brought it to our church to hand back out into the community. A lot of those clothes gathered at clothing drives and clothing giveaways became our mainstays and the way that we stay clothed. But now, as an adult, removed from some of those limitations of poverty, I was still finding it hard to let go of things that didn't serve me. I would justify it by saying, "Do you know how much this cost?" Or how hard it is to find this shade of green in a pant. But I knew secretly, and maybe not so secretly, that those things never really fit me. They just fit a version of me that was surviving at that time. And when I came into really understanding that this is the way that I was coping to get through life, holding on what worked because it kind of did, instead of really embracing the world and the things that I deserve and had worked hard for, I started doing some real soul searching of being able to purge the things that no longer worked for me. I took large, big black trash bags into my closet, and I started pulling off everything that I hadn't worn in 3 years' time. Some of the things I kept because they were keepsakes, old jerseys given to me by my older brother or a t-shirt signed by students. These things kind of got to stay around. But for everything else that didn't seem to work anymore for the person who I wanted to be, I let it go. I bagged it up, I put it in my truck, and I took it to Goodwill, where someone who needed it to survive the way that I did when I was young could get a new infusion of something that could keep them going. But it was up to me to be able to surrender those things, those survival skills that I was only using to cope for the time that I needed them. It was up to me to acknowledge that I no longer needed that skill set to cope, that I was a new person, and to embrace it. No one around us can tell us that we are new. It has to be an internal thing for us to realize that we have arrived to a place where the skills we've used to survive are now more of a burden than a help. And when you acknowledge that, you are able to let go in a way that you never imagined. You leave your arms empty to embrace whatever beautiful thing is coming next. Thank you so much for everyone who's taken time to listen, to build, and to dive deeper on this journey. When we first started this podcast, we didn't know who all we would reach. We know some of you jumped in halfway. Feel free to revisit earlier episodes or just listen to those that resonated with you the most later on. I can't wait to keep creating content that helps you stay motivated and dive even deeper. Until next year, thank you for coming in, taking a seat, and getting deep. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. I hope this moment of reflection stays with you, guides you, and reminds you to keep going. If you found value in this episode, let's keep the conversation going. Follow me on Instagram at Live Life Deep and share your thoughts, your wisdom, and your light. And if you're enjoying the podcast, The best way to support it is simple. Subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your support helps others find this space of growth and inspiration. This has been a Gemini's production. You can explore some of the other podcasts on the network by going to GeminisProductions.com or following on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube at Gemini's Productions. Until next time, remember, you've been given today. What you do with it is up to you.